Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today, inshallah, we will be solving few examples from the title book on the topic of torsion. In the last lecture, I hope that you have watched the lecture thoroughly and you have understood quite a lot of things. I know the topic is difficult at this particular level, but I would suggest that do watch this lecture at least twice and do note down your questions and ask those questions from me, so that any question and any confusion that is there in your mind, that should be clarified before solving these problems. In today's lecture, inshallah, we'll be solving few examples, and I hope all those confusion that might have arisen from the lecture, I hope the solution of these examples will certainly help in solution in understanding of all those confusions and problems that you might have faced in the theoretical part. And inshallah, we will be solving few problems in the next class, inshallah. So in that, inshallah, you will have all those problems, inshallah, would be resolved, and the concept of torsion will be very much clear in your mind, inshallah. So in today's this particular example, this is from the title book. This example says that figure A, this is the figure. This figure shows a 2 inches diameter solid steel cylinder. This is the first example of this title book, and this is a 2 inches steel. The diameter of the shaft of this cylinder is 2 inches, and it is built into the support C. It's fixed at the support C and subjected to the torque. There are two torques that are working on this particular cylinder. One is at the point A, which is in the counterclockwise direction, and the intensity of this torque is 900 pound-feet. And there is another torque which is acting at 5 feet away from this torque A, and we are calling this torque as torque B, and this intensity of this particular torque is 400 pound-feet. The total length of this cylinder is 8 feet. As you can see, this is 5 feet and this is 3 feet. The total length is 8 feet, and the diameter of this cylinder is 2 inches. Okay, so what we need to find out, we have been asked to determine the maximum shear stress in the segment AB. We have to find out the stresses in the segment AB, whatever the stress is in this length, and then we have to find out the stress in the segment BC, whatever are the stresses in the segment of the length 3 feet segment. And in addition to that, we have to compute the angle of rotation of end A. So we have to find out the angle of rotation at end A. So these are the two queries in this example. So apparently, as this is the first example, it's very simple example. So let's see. And we have been given the modulus of rigidity as well, and it's 12 into 10 raised to the power 6 psi for steel. So coming to the solution, first of all, the first step, inshallah, we'll be doing the equilibrium analysis. We will see that whether the whole cylinder of the assembly is in the equilibrium or not. And once we will establish that the whole assembly is in equilibrium, then we will see the whole individual segment, the segment AB and the segment BC. We will see that whether these two segments are in equilibrium or not. Since the whole assembly, if we establish the whole assembly is in equilibrium, then definitely each and individual segment would also be in equilibrium. And from that equilibrium, we will be able to find out the stresses in each segment. So this is the whole assembly, right? So the same figure that we have shown in the first slide. So applying the moment equilibrium equation, the summation of moment at X would be equal to 0. Determine the reactive torque at C. Okay, because this whole assembly is in equilibrium, so we'll see that the total moment at this particular fixed end of this shaft would be 0. Would not be 0, that would, the summation of moment would be 0, and there would be a certain moment that would bring the whole assembly into the equilibrium. So determine the reactive torque at C to be TC, the torque at C to be 500 pound-feet. As you can see, this is the 400 pound-feet acting in the clockwise direction, and there is another torque at the end A, which is 900 pound-feet, which is acting in the counterclockwise direction. So we need to apply a torque of 500 pound-feet in the clockwise direction, because then the torque B and torque C would be 900, and then the torque A would be 900, and that the whole assembly will become in equilibrium. And since we know that the whole assembly is in equilibrium, then definitely the torque at C need to be 500 pound-feet. So that's what we do normally in the stress analysis as well, when we were doing the stress analysis in the first in the pre-midterms teaching as well. Okay, so determine the reactive torque at C to be 500 pound-feet with the torques in the segment being T torque AB as 900 pound-feet and the torque BC at 500 pound-feet. So 900, this is 400 and this is 5. You can see the direction of these two. This is the 400 pound-feet at the torque B, and the torque C would need to be these two. You can see this is 400 and this is 500, and both of these are in the clockwise direction, and while this one is in the counterclockwise direction. So from this equilibrium we find out that the torque at C is equal to 500 pound-feet. Okay. So we can also denote the torque in this double-headed arrow as well with the right hand rule. So as far as the right hand rule is concerned, you need to take your right hand, and this would show the direction of the arrow, and this would show the direction of the torque. I think that will show you clearly. Okay. So if your torque is in this direction, you can see that my thumb is towards me. So the torque would be directed. If you want to use the double-headed arrow, this double-headed arrow would be directed towards me. Okay. So if I'm using this thing, so you can see this thumb is directed towards you, and the direction of the torque would be like this. Okay. So if this is this thing and this is this thing. So if you want to use this notation, as you can see, the torque A is directed towards me in this direction. So we will use the double-headed arrow in this direction. And you can see the torque B is directed towards you like this, then we'll use the double-headed arrow in this direction. Okay. So that is the notation we can use for the double-headed arrow, and that is comparatively easier to draw on the diagram as well. So from this, you can see that this particular headed arrow torque at A is directed outwards in the positive x direction, that is 900 pound-feet, and these two are in the negative direction, so that would be in the opposite direction, would be 400 and 500. So that is the equilibrium analysis. So once we have established the equilibrium analysis, then we need to take out each and every section. The segment AB will cut a section at that segment AB, and then in the next phase we'll cut a section at section BC, and then we'll see that each and every individual segment would also be in equilibrium. So the polar moment of inertia, as we know that this is a solid shaft, solid cylinder. So pi d 4 upon 32, and we know the diameter of the shaft is 2 inches. With the help of this formula, we can find out the polar moment of inertia of this cylinder to be 1.5708 inch to the power 4. So that is the polar moment of inertia. So maximum shear stress in each segment. So first we will take the segment AB. Okay, so this is the segment AB. If you want to use this clockwise or counterclockwise direction as well, so we can denote it like this. So 900 would be the torque in this particular segment to be that segment in the equilibrium. And if you want to use this notation, we can denote the double-headed arrow with this as well. So the torque in the segment AB would be 900 pounds. So once we have established the torque, with the help of the torsional formula, we can find out the stresses as well. We know that the torsional stress is tau is equal to TR upon J. So with the help of that formula, so that's the important thing to understand here, is that we need to find out the torque in individual segments. And once you find out the torque in the individual segment, then you can find out the torsional stresses in each and every segment as well. And with the help of this, the maximum torsional stresses in segment AB would be equal to the torque AB time radius divided by J. So torque in AB we have established through this equilibrium analysis that this is 900 pound-feet. So this is 900, and we have multiplied with 12 to make it into the inches, because the other quantities are in inches. We know the R was 2 inches, diameter was 2 inches, so R would be half of that, and that would be 1 inches. And the polar moment of inertia we calculated from this formula was 1.5708, and we put in this into this equation, and from that we find out that the maximum shear stress in this particular segment is 6,880 psi. Okay, so I hope this is the very easiest part, very easy example. So we'll move on to the segment BC. This is the segment BC. Okay, so we have cut a section at the segment BC, and we'll take either the left or the right hand side of that. You can take the right hand side as well. So if you take the right hand side, even then you will find out the shearing stresses and the torque in the segment BC. So we know that the torque at A was 900, and we know the torque at B was 400. So the difference of these two torque, because since they are in the opposite direction, so the difference would be 500 pound, and that should be directed to the in the same direction as in the torque B to maintain the equilibrium. So from this we knew that the torque BC is 500 pound fit. And as far as this is concerned, double-headed arrow is concerned, you know कि भाई ये इस तरीके से we can find out this thing as well. Okay, so you can see that the double-headed arrow, the torque at A is directed towards me. So the thumb would be directed in this direction, 900 pound. Okay, and the torque at B is directed like this. So thumb would be directed like this. So 900 here, 400 here. So 500 is the balance, and that 500 should be in this direction to maintain the equilibrium. Okay, 900 here, 400 here. So we need to have 500 here as well to maintain the equilibrium. That's why we have established that the torque in the segment BC would be 500 pound fit. So now you have established the torque in the segment BC. From this you can find out the shearing stresses in the segment BC, and the same formula we use here as well, that torque BC time radius divided by J. The torque BC is 500 multiplied by 12 to convert that into inches. Radius is 1 inches, and J is the same polar moment inertia because this cylinder is the same. So this is 3820 psi. Next we have to find out the angle of rotation at the end A as well. So we know the formula for the angle of rotation. The rotation of end A of the cylinder is obtained by summing the angle of twist of the two segments. So we need to find out this angle of twist in the segment AB and the angle of twist in the segment BC, and then that the summation would be the total, the angle of twist at end A. So theta at A would be equal to theta AB plus theta BC. So theta A TL upon GJ, because GJ is constant, same for the whole cylinder, that's why we took it as a common. And then torque AB, length AB, torque BC, length BC. So putting in all these values, we know the torque AB is 900, we know the length of AB is 5. These 12 are to convert these into inches, and the torque BC is 500. And when you calculate through the calculator, you will see that it is in this much radian, and you want to convert from radian into the degrees. You know the formula is, I think, is about pi upon 180. I think you need to multiply with the 180 upon pi. That will give you the in degrees. The positive result indicate that the rotation vector of A is in the positive x direction. That is, theta A is directed counterclockwise. This direction when viewed from A to C. So I think if you want to view it from A to C, this thing, if you want to view A from C, so this would be in counterclockwise direction, in this direction. Okay, the rotation, as you can see, the torque at this particular segment point is in the counterclockwise direction. So let me draw this. Yes, we are here. So this thing, pen. So if I draw the cylinder like this, so this torque was something like this. This was 900, and if it is point B, so this was in this direction, and this was also in this direction. So we want to view from this, that angle of twist. As you can see that this particular torque is in the counterclockwise direction, so the whole cylinder would be rotated like this. The torsional stresses would be in this direction. Angle of twist would be in this direction. And we are denoting this direction as to be the positive direction. This direction is the positive direction. Okay. So that's why we are taking it to be 2.63 degree positive. So had the torque been in this direction, in the reverse direction, if this torque had been in this direction, let me draw it here, in this direction, in this direction, if it was like this, and the other was like this, and the next was like this, so this would be in the negative. Okay, so I hope it's not very much difficult, कोई इतनी मुश्किल चीज़ नहीं है. You can find out this direction as well. So मैंने आपको right hand rule भी, I have told you the right hand rule as well, so you can use that either, or you can use this direction of the torque. I think direction of the torque is even simpler. कि भाई किस डायरेक्शन में टार्क लग रहा है, उसी डायरेक्शन में इसकी रोटेशन हो रही होगी. डोमिनेंट टार्क किस डायरेक्शन में है, तो उसी डायरेक्शन इसमें इसकी रोटेशन हो रही होगी. So that was example number 1. So moving ahead with the next example. ये तो मैंने बता दिया है. So example number 2, let's read out the statement. This state can be the shaft in the figure. Let's see the figure. This is the figure. The shaft in the figure consists of a 3 inches diameter aluminium segment. This aluminium segment is in 3 inches diameter. That is rigidly joined to a 2 inches diameter steel segment. This segment is of 2 inches, which is of steel, and this segment is of 3 inches diameter, and this is made of aluminium. The ends of the shafts are attached to the rigid support. Both the ends are rigid. ठीक है जी, ये एंड भी रिजिड है और ये एंड भी रिजिड है, और सेंटर के ऊपर एक टार्क लग रहा है. तो ये थोड़ा सा सवाल उससे इंटरेस्टिंग इससे उस सूरत में है कि क्योंकि उसका एक एंड फ्री था. ओके, तो यहाँ इसके दोनों एंड फिक्स हैं और सेंटर के ऊपर टार्क लग रहा है. तो ये अब थोड़ी सी दोनों को परेशान करेगा कि भाई यहाँ क्या हो रहा है और वहाँ क्या हो रहा है. लेकिन जो हमारी कॉमन सेंस वो ये कह रही है कि जो एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट होगा सेंटर के ऊपर वो सेम होगा, क्योंकि टार्क सेम है. तो जितना एल्यूमिनियम के अंदर रोटेशन आएगी, क्योंकि दे आर रिजिडली कनेक्टेड ना, तो जितनी एल्यूमिनियम के अंदर रोटेशन आएगी उतनी स्टील के अंदर रोटेशन आएगी. तो ये कंसेप्ट जो है इसके अंदर बड़ा यूज़फुल रहेगा. अगर आप चल के आगे देखेंगे तो इसी कंसेप्ट को हम यहाँ इस्तेमाल भी कर रहे होंगे. Anyhow, so to calculate the maximum shear stress developed in each segment when the torque T is equal to 10 kip inches required. When the magnitude of the torque is 10 kips inch, तो आपसे ये कह रहा है कि shear stresses जो डेवलप हो रहे हैं इन each segment में, एल्यूमिनियम के सेगमेंट में भी और स्टील के सेगमेंट में भी, दोनों सेगमेंट के अंदर जो है वो आपसे कह रहा है कि आप स्ट्रेसेस को फाइंड आउट करें. एंड यूज G4 into 10⁻6 psi फॉर एल्यूमिनियम एंड G12 into 10⁻6 psi फॉर स्टील. तो ये मेरे ख्याल में यही पूछ रहा है, एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट नहीं पूछ रहा. तो यही सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन है जो आपसे पूछ रहा है. तो अब आपको यहाँ से क्वेश्चन पता चल गया है कि क्या है, और इसमें जो की कंसेप्ट है वो आपको पता चलना चाहिए कि दोनों एंड चूँकि इसके फिक्स हैं, तो जो और टार्क एक ही लग रहा है. अगर दो टार्क लग रहे हो तो फिर खानी थोड़ी सी मुख्तलिफ होती है. और फिर हम अब क्योंकि एक सिंगल टार्क लग रहा है, तो विद द हेल्प ऑफ दैट सिंगल टार्क वी नो कि जिस पॉइंट के ऊपर लग रहा है, क्योंकि दोनों रिजिडली कनेक्टेड है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ज़्यादा रोटेट करे और एक कम रोटेट करे. तो दोनों की रोटेशन सेम आएगी. ठीक है, क्योंकि वो उसकी जी डिफरेंट है तो शेयरिंग स्ट्रेस उसके अंदर डिफरेंट होंगे, लेकिन वो जो उसके अंदर टॉर्जन को टॉर्क एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट कास कर रहे होंगे जिस पॉइंट ऑफ कनेक्शन के ऊपर, दैट वुड बी द सेम. तो आगे चल के देखते हैं कि क्या कह रहा है. फ्रॉम द फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम ऑफ द इंटायर शाफ्ट इन द फिगर बी, ये इसके फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम हमने बनाई. ठीक है जी, ये आप देख रहे हैं कि ये हमने इस एंड सपोर्ट को भी हटा दिया, इसको भी सपोर्ट को भी हटा दिया. ठीक है, और इनिशियली वी आर एज्यूमिंग कि भाई टार्क की जो डायरेक्शन है वो इस डायरेक्शन में लग रही है, क्योंकि ये जो 10 किप्स है ये काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में. तो हमने इनिशियली कह दिया ये अगर डायरेक्शन हम इस टाइम कोई भी आप ज्यूम कर सकते हैं, इस डायरेक्शन में भी कर सकते हैं, और जो आप डायरेक्शन ज्यूम कर रहे हैं अगर आपका जो रिजल्ट है वो टर्न्स आउट टू बी पॉजिटिव, इट्स मीन दैट वट एवर डायरेक्शन यू हैव ज्यूम दैट इज करेक्ट. एंड इफ इट टर्न्स आउट टू बी नेगेटिव देन यू विल हैव टू रिवर्स दैट डायरेक्शन. लेट सपोज मैं जो ये डायरेक्शन मैंने TST को क्लॉकवाइज ज्यूम किया है, एंड आफ्टर द कैलकुलेशन इफ जिस टार्क इन स्टील कम्स आउट टू बी नेगेटिव, सो दैट वुड शो कि भाई जो टार्क की डायरेक्शन थी वो हमने गलत ज्यूम कर ली थी, वो इस डायरेक्शन के अंदर होगी. ठीक है, तो अब हमने सबसे पहला काम ये करना है कि विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द टार्क इन एल्यूमिनियम एंड देन विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द टार्क इन स्टील एज वेल. सो लेट्स सी. इसके लिए ऐसी बात, अगर आप यहाँ देख रहे हैं कि दो अननोन है, तो वी नीड टू हैव टू इक्वेशंस टू फाइंड दीज टू अननोन्स. एक सिंगल इक्वेशन से नहीं आएगा. तो अब दो इक्वेशन, अगर हम पहली इक्वेशन अब बनाते हैं कि ये तो आपको पता है कि जो टोटल टॉर्क होगा दैट वुड बी 10 किप्स इंच, कि टार्क इन एल्यूमिनियम प्लस टार्क इन स्टील दैट शुड बी इक्वल टू 10 किप्स इंच. बट दैट इक्वेशन इज नॉट इनफ, देन विल हैव टू लुक फॉर द अनदर इक्वेशन. तो हम देखते हैं कि वो इक्वेशन क्या होगी. So the first is summation of moment at any point x that would be 0. So we know कि भाई टार्क जो है वो वन टार्क इज 10 किप्स इंच फ्रॉम दिस थिंग. ये चीज़ यहाँ से में आ गई. एंड वी ये जो कि हमने इसको काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज को हम पॉजिटिव ले रहे हैं, तो ये पॉजिटिव ले लिया, और क्लॉकवाइज को दोनों को आप देख रहे हैं कि ये भी नेगेटिव है और ये भी नेगेटिव है. तो ये जो भी डायरेक्शन आप लेंगे वो आपने एक ही डायरेक्शन के साथ लेकर के चलना है. अगर आप इसको पॉजिटिव लेते हैं और इसको नेगेटिव लेते हैं, देन थ्रू आउट द टेक्स्ट जो है यू विल हैव टू अडॉप्ट द सेम डायरेक्शन एज वेल. एनी हाउ सो विल स्टिक टू द डायरेक्शन अडॉप्टेड बाय द ऑथर, सो विल स्टिक टू दैट. सो वो क्या कर रहा है कि जो क्लॉकवाइज टार्क हैं इज टेकिंग दैट टू बी नेगेटिव, एंड इफ योर टार्क इज इन द काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन you will take that to be positive. So 10 kips in this torque is in the counterclockwise direction, so we are taking that to be positive. And these two torques, the torque in steel and torque in aluminum, they are we are assuming that to be in the clockwise direction, and we are taking that to be negative. And if any of these things comes out to be positive, we'll just reverse the direction of that torque. Okay, so this is equation number 1. And as you can see from this equation that we have two unknown, and there is only one equation. This equation is not sufficient to solve this these two unknown. So we will see कि भाई इसको हम किस तरीके से करते हैं. So this problem is statically indeterminate because there are two unknown torque in steel and torque in aluminum, but only one independent equilibrium equation is available to us right now. So we'll see कि compatibility क्या कह रही है. तो equilibrium equation यहाँ काफ़ी नहीं है. Then we'll have to look for the compatibility equation. The compatibility says कि भाई कि जो यहाँ जो इस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट पर जो रोटेशन आएगी, वट एवर विल बी द एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट एट दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट, दैट वुड बी द सेम फॉर दिस सेगमेंट एंड दैट वुड बी द सेम फॉर दिस सेगमेंट एज वेल. ओके, तो ये इक्वेशन, ये जो कंपैटिबिलिटी है, दैट वुड प्ले द की रोल इन फाइंडिंग द सोल्यूशन ऑफ दिस थिंग. सो अ सेकंड रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द टार्क इज ऑब्टेन्ड बाय नोटिंग दैट द राइट एंड ऑफ द एल्यूमिनियम सेगमेंट मस्ट रोटेट थ्रू द सेम एंगल एज द लेफ्ट एंड ऑफ द स्टील सेगमेंट. ओके, ये जो बात थी, स्टेटमेंट थी, वो ये कह रही है कि जो ये इसका, ये क्या है, स्टील है. स्टील का जो लेफ़्ट है, ज़रा मेरे उस पर लेफ़्ट बन रहा है, तो स्टील का जो ये सेगमेंट है, ये वाला, और जो एल्यूमिनियम का ये वाला सेगमेंट है, दोनों की रोटेशन सेम होगी क्योंकि दोनों रिजिडली कनेक्टेड है. तो इस कंपैटिबिलिटी को हम इसको इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. तो दोबारा मैं पढ़ देता हूँ. अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द टार्क इज ऑब्टेन बाय नोटिंग दैट द राइट एंड ऑफ द एल्यूमिनियम सेगमेंट. तो इसका मतलब ये कि एल्यूमिनियम इसका ये होगा, दिस इज द राइट एंड ऑफ द एल्यूमिनियम सेगमेंट, मस्ट रोटेट थ्रू द सेम एंगल एज द लेफ्ट है. ये होगा आपके पास स्टील, दिस इज द एल्यूमिनियम एंड दिस इज द स्टील. स्टील का ये लेफ्ट है और एल्यूमिनियम का ये राइट है. तो ये जो जगह होगी, यहाँ जो एंगल ऑफ ट्विस्ट आएगा, दैट वुड बी द सेम. So theta aluminium at this point and theta steel at this point would be the same. इसको हम नोटेशन को हम यहाँ इस्तेमाल करेंगे. ठीक है, तो ये वही फिगर को यहाँ इसने बना भी दिया, मैंने मीठा, तो इसको मैं इरेज कर देता हूँ. ये इरेज हो गया मेरे ख्याल में. चलें इसको भी कर देते हैं, ये भी कर देते हैं. ये हो गया इरेज, ये छोटे डॉट को छोड़ देते. ठीक है, तो यह देखते हैं कि इससे क्या. So therefore the two segment must have the same angle of twist, that is theta steel would be equal to theta aluminum. So this is known as the compatibility equation. इसको हम कहते हैं compatibility. जो फर्स्ट पार्ट में, फर्स्ट स्लाइड में, इससे लास्ट स्लाइड में हमने किया, वो क्या था, इक्विलिब्रियम इक्वेशन थी. तो इक्विलिब्रियम इक्वेशन हमारे पास एक ही अवेलेबल थी और उससे हमारे पास सोल्यूशन नहीं आ रहा था. तो अब हम इससे देखते हैं. अब हमें पता है कि थीटा इज इक्वल टू TL/GJ. तो इसके अंदर हम थीटा की दोनों वैल्यूज डाल देते हैं, तो उससे हमें काफ़ी यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी. दिस इज द इक्वेशन ऑफ द थीटा, कि थीटा इज इक्वल टू TL/GJ. सो दिस कंडीशन बिकम्स के थीटा ऑफ स्टील इज इक्वल टू थीटा ऑफ एल्यूमिनियम. तो यहाँ जो स्टील की इन्फॉर्मेशन है वो हम पुट कर देते हैं. ये टार्क ऑफ स्टील विच इज़ अननोन, लेंथ ऑफ द स्टील इज 3 × 12 है, 3 फीट थी, तो हमने 12 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया. जी ऑफ जो स्टील था वो 12 PA था, 10⁶ था, और जे जो था वो ये, चूँकि 2 इंचज़ था इसका डायमीटर और इसका 3 इंचज़ डायमीटर था. तो ये जो नॉन वैल्यूज़ थी वो उसके अंदर आप पुट इन करेंगे, तो यहाँ से आपको एक और इक्वेशन मिलती है, और वो ये मिलती है कि जो टार्क ऑफ स्टील है, that should be equal to 1.18 times the torque of aluminum, and then we'll put in this equation into the equilibrium equation के अंदर हम इसको put in कर देंगे. तो ये कह रहेगा solving equation we obtain कि torque in aluminum turns out to be 4,576 pounds/inch and the torque in steel turns out to be 5,424 pounds/inch. ठीक है जी. सो जो अब आपको चूँकि टार्क मिल गए हैं, तो टॉर्जन फार्मूला से वी कैन फाइंड आउट द शेयरिंग स्ट्रेसेस. तो मैक्सिमम शेयरिंग स्ट्रेसेस इन एल्यूमिनियम इज 16T/πd³. तो ये आपको पता है कि कैसे आया है, TR/J से आया है. J आपको पता है कि π/32D⁴ है, और जो D है वो R/2 होता है. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से आप ये सारा के सारा ये फाइंड आउट करेंगे, तो दैट वुड कम आउट टू बी 863 PSI. In the same way you will find out the maximum shearing stresses in steel, putting in all the values. कोई इसमें मुश्किल चीज़ नहीं है. इसके अंदर पुट इन करते हैं, तो you will find out the value of this maximum shearing stress in steel to be 3,450 PSI. Okay, so I hope कि ये एग्जाम्पल भी हो गई है. तो let's take a short break here और फिर हम इसको कंटिन्यू करते हैं.